So CrossFit is technically described as
Is constantly varied.
Functional movements
at high intensity.
That is the CrossFit definition of CrossFit. What that means to me, constantly varied, you're doing something different on a regular basis. You're not getting stuck in a rut doing the same movement or the same rep scheme over and over again. So you're going to be forcing that body or your body to adapt to the stimulus.
Functional to me means it's movement that applies in the real world. I found myself doing push presses in my garage, lifting up boxes from shelves.
You pick up a package off of the floor, you got to do it safely and effectively so you don't get yourself hurt. We want to make sure that we can get up off of chairs, sit down on the toilet, and not have somebody help us do it.
High intensity, that's relative to the individual. You know, one person's intensity level can be completely different from someone else's.
Intensity is about your own physical fitness and working harder. Intensity gets results, not the volume.
So there's going to be 3 different kind of modalities or types of workouts that you'll probably see in CrossFit classes. The first one will be a weightlifting component, which is basically, you can think about it as anything that's outside of your body. So a kettlebell or a barbell or a wall ball or possibly doing a buddy carry would be described as weightlifting.
So your gymnastics movements are going to be push-ups, they're going to be pull-ups, there'll be things like hollow rock holds that work on your abdominals, sit-ups.
So the last type of exercise you can think of as aerobic. So here's where we can do running, sprints, short distances and long distances, rowing, jumping jacks, jumping rope, those sorts of things.
But those are different modalities that you will be exposed to on any given day, and a combination of maybe 1 or 2 or even all 3, depending on the day's training. But you will get exposed to all of those on a regular basis.
So CrossFit is infinitely scalable. That means that anything that we do in here, it can be scaled up or down to whatever level that you need to be. You don't need to be worried about, I can't do this workout, or I need to get fit before I go in there and do these kind of workouts. We're going to adjust every person to where they need to be for that day.
Scaling works for people who are physically unable to do the movement, but scaling also works for people who maybe are scared to do the movement. Things like box jumps can be very intimidating. So you can start out on a plate, then you can move to 2 plates, a shorter box, a box with a plate. There are many, many options to get you to that point on a box jump where you're jumping on a 20-inch box.
At FCF, our classes run 1 hour. When the class begins, the coach will call everybody to the whiteboard, and this is the chance to learn about what we're going to be doing for the day. The coach will go through the different exercises. He'll explain the warm-up, the actual focus of the day in the strength or conditioning exercise, and then he'll talk briefly about the cool down that we'll do at the end. The coach is very engaged and wants questions. If people aren't sure about the movements, the coaches always give demonstrations. If somebody's never heard about a particular movement, the coach will demonstrate it for them. So the whiteboard is a time for the coach to instruct the class generally what's going to be happening over the next hour, and also a chance to ask questions of the coach and maybe think about some different ways of scaling the different exercises. And then class begins, and we always go through a warm-up. There's usually about a 15-20 minute time where we'll just get the body moving. So the warm-up gets the heart beating a little bit faster and the muscles warmed up for the actual exercises that we'll be doing. Then the coach will lead us through the exercise of the day or the workout of the day.
Once that portion is completed, we typically have a cool down that everybody goes through, whether it be some focused mobility work at the end, maybe even some stability work at the end. Just again, depends on the day. But pretty much on any given day, and when you attend a class here, you're going to be given a structured warm-up piece You're going to be given the meat and potatoes of the workout, whether it be conditioning and strength or a combination of both, as well as a cool down. And that's pretty much it. You're in and out in under 60 minutes.
So CrossFit offers something that most gyms don't, and that is the community atmosphere, feeling, and environment. All of our classes are done in a group setting, which provides not only guidance among your peers, so you can see the people around you doing the same movements if you have questions or want to try to mirror them or follow them, but it also provides a sense of belonging. The thing that I fell in love with CrossFit is that the person who is coming in last at the end of the workout is usually the person that's getting the most cheers. So CrossFit is a group environment, but it's a group environment that's a community. They're gonna support you, they're gonna encourage you, and they're gonna fight for you just as hard as you do every single workout. And that is not something that you're gonna get if you go to like a 24-hour fitness. Even if you go and you do a spin class or you do a yoga class, it's a very different type of community atmosphere. It definitely takes a village, and this is what CrossFit is, and this is what CrossFit has been for me. It's been my village.
So for anybody that has thought about trying CrossFit, my advice to you would be definitely do your homework. Find a gym that you feel comfortable with that is in a location that you know you're going to be able to make the times and classes, and try out some of the classes, talk to the coaches, and make sure that that gym kind of gives you that feel-good sense that you want out of a community gym. I feel like I get that here at FCF. I've been coming here for a few years now, coaching for a few years also, and I think you guys should give us a try.